Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of President Trump, will be questioned by the Senate Intelligence Committee as part of the panel's investigation into Russia's interference during the 2016 election. Mr. Kushner has volunteered to be interviewed as part of the committee's investigation into the Russian activities surrounding the 2016 election. Senators Richard Burr and Mark Warner, the committee's chairman and vice chairman, told the New York Times in a statement. According to the Times, the questions for Kushner will focus on 2 meetings he had with Russian agents in December, prior to his father-in-law's inauguration as president. The White House counsel's office was informed this month that the Senate Intelligence Committee, which is investigating Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election, wanted to question Mr. Kushner about meetings he arranged with the Russian ambassador, Sergei Kislyak, according to the government officials. The meetings, which took place during the transition, included a previously unreported sit-down with the head of Russia's state-owned development bank. Until now, the White House had acknowledged only an early December meeting between Mr. Kislyak and Mr. Kushner, which occurred at Trump Tower and was also attended by Michael T. Flynn, who would briefly serve as the national security advisor. Later that month, though, Mr. Kislyak requested a second meeting, which Mr. Kushner asked a deputy to attend in his stead, officials said. At Mr. Kislyak's request, Mr. Kushner later met with Sergei Gorkov, the chief of the Nashekinim Bank, which the United States placed on its sanctions list after President Vladimir V. Putin of Russia annexed Crimea and began meddling in Ukraine. A White House spokeswoman, Hope Hicks, confirmed those meetings, saying in an interview that nothing of consequence was discussed and that they went nowhere. Mr. Gorkov, who previously served as deputy chairman of the board at Sberbank, Russia's largest state-owned bank, could not be reached for comment. Between 2012 and 2014, the Nashekinim Bank was used as cover for Russian spy Evgeny Buryakov to gather intelligence and recruit New York City residents as sources for Moscow, according to the Department of Justice. Buryakov was prosecuted by then United States Attorney Preet Bharara, who was recently fired by the Trump administration. A White House official told CBS News correspondent Mark Knoller that Kushner was the Trump campaign's primary point of contact with foreign governments and officials. The disclosure of the Nashekinim Bank meeting and Kushner's expected testimony comes on the day the president plans to unveil a new White House office, to be led by Kushner, that will be charged with overhauling the federal bureaucracy. So far, 7 associates of the president have been asked to testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee. In addition to Kushner and Flynn, the list includes Attorney General Jeff Sessions, campaign advisor Roger Stone, campaign manager Paul Manafort, policy advisor Carter Page, and J.D. Gordon, who was the Trump campaign's director of national security. So far, Kushner is the closest advisor to Trump to be caught up in ongoing investigations over Russia's attempts to influence the 2016 election. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment.